life itself is fascinating. It is fascinating learning how to die from a false life in order to live a real life. It's not going to happen until you die from the false life. In order to live, you must die from the illusion that you have about life, the false life, ideas. And I have to honestly say, growing up in Alabama, I witnessed older men who were strong in that. They knew how to deal with life. They seemed to have understood the difference between the false life and the real life. So it was even though they didn't really talk about it, but as you observe them, you notice how they dealt with the real deal, with life. I remember when the so-called civil rights movement started, and the older people was encouraging the younger people not to get involved with that. They were like, don't get involved with that. That's not good. Martin Luther King and those people are not for you. That's a bunch of mess, they would say. Don't get involved with that. And I see that turned out to be correct. Because the people that did get involved with the so-called civil rights movement, the blacks, they ended up worse off than ever before in the history of America in that they lost their way as individuals. They have lost their way as to dealing with life and overcoming the false life, being responsible for themselves, knowing that no one else is responsible for you as an adult. So I saw that growing up. And it had an impact on me in a big way, but I still had to learn what I needed to learn as well about life. But until Donald Trump, the great white hope, I haven't seen that type of courage. And I don't want to use the word courage, but I have to in order to communicate with you. But I have not seen, and I don't know what the outcome going to be with him either, but Donald Trump is clearly from the old school mentality, somehow or another. And I don't know if it's because he was close to his father. His father seemed to have had a great impact on his life. He wrote about how close he was to his father when he taught him and all that. And he seemed to have done some of that with his sons as well. But, I said the moment Donald Trump came down those stairs some years ago, a few years ago now, and announced that he was running for president, that make sure you observe this guy. Watch him. Have a little space between the two of you, because people tend not to leave spaces between each other. They tend to become one with the person. And when they have one little misstep, they're out of there, right? Because they identify with the person, not understanding what was really going on. So I've said to make sure you observe Donald Trump. And thus far, to observe him in all these years that I've been aware of him, I know he was around with a TV show and all that, but I didn't pay attention to the TV show. I had heard of Donald Trump, but I had no idea about him. And Donald Trump, thus far, and again, I don't know what the outcome going to be, but he's dealing with the issues that comes to him in his life in a perfect way, in an amazing way, such that I've not seen in years, many moons, since leaving Alabama. And I still want to encourage you that you should just watch him without any judgment either way. You're supposed to watch life without judgment of life, right? You're supposed to watch yourself without any judgment of stuff, of what's happening. You don't call it good. You don't call it bad. You don't call it right. You don't call it wrong. You just observe yourself from within. the thoughts and feelings. And so I've been watching Donald Trump and his enemies, because these people have made Donald Trump their enemies. He didn't make them his enemies. They made him their enemy. And I watch how his enemies have done so far all that they could do to stop him, to destroy him. And so far, they have not succeeded at any of it. Amazing. It's really like I said before, it reminds me of what I read about his brother Jesus the Christ, and seeing how Donald Trump is going through the earth and dealing with issues, because he seemed to understand that they're all spiritual, that is good or evil, right? I have not seen a human being deal with things like this since I left Alabama at the age of 18. Everything that they are throwing, and believe me, and Donald Trump is like his brother Jesus Christ, in that when Donald Trump is operating in America, he affects the whole world. The whole world is better off with Donald Trump in office, and it's worse off with anyone else in office. The whole world is worse off with Joe Biden, the fallen Messiah, Barack Obama, or any other president. But the whole world is better off with Donald Trump. Isn't that like amazing when you think about that? The enemies are afraid. The whole world emulate Donald Trump and America. They feel safer. They make more money. Whatever it is, right? I've not seen anyone like Donald Trump before. I listened to his words. I remember when Donald Trump was asked about the wars between Israel and Palestine and so-called Ukraine and Russia and anywhere. He said, well, I want peace. He didn't go like, well, I'm going to go there and kick butt. And he like, I want peace. I'll bring peace. I've not heard anyone else speak in that way. So I still want to encourage you without any judgment at all. And I know most people are on the ego trip, so it's hard for them not to do that because they judge themselves. They're going to judge everybody else. But watch him. Just have a little space there. Watch him without right or wrong or thinking that you know what the outcome going to be and blah, 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 because we don't. In all honesty, we absolutely don't. And I know it looked like he's going to win the election because it seems as though everybody is for him except the government and the liberal media and some conservative media and the Republican representatives. They're not for him. But the voters seem to be for him, and so there's a major assumption that he's going to win. But we really don't know. We'll know in November what happened when the people vote. But just observe how he is dealing with things. When I see him in the media, he doesn't look stressed out. He doesn't look worn down. He doesn't look worried. He doesn't look defeated at all. This is from ABC. After a 2-week trial, a jury took less than 3 hours on Friday to return a verdict that Trump should pay E. Jean Carroll over $83 million in damage for 2 defamatory statements made by the former president in 2019. Watch this from MSNBC.
Starting in a New York City courtroom on Friday night, where the spectacle candidate, I bet you know the one, Donald Trump, was ordered to pay over $83 million in damages to writer E. Jean Carroll after he was found liable for sexually assaulting and then defaming her. The leading candidate for the Republican nomination, who will win the nomination barring something crazy happen, who had already been found liable for sexually assaulting a woman in a dressing room, has spent the last several months continuing to relentlessly attack her story, her credibility, and her character. turning the courtroom into a campaign, revving up the worst instincts of the Republican base by playing the victim card when you are attacking the women you assaulted, telling people that the system is broken and that you are the only one who can fight it. And on the other side, there is normalcy, steadiness, and perhaps most importantly, a focus on the country and not on yourself.
Amazing. A female who lacks understanding. She cannot see. They don't understand what's happening through this man. They can't figure it out. When have you ever heard of a court awarding $83 million in damage from a person that accused someone of anything? They're trying to stop him. They're trying to break him. And they want to break. The one thing they have not been able to do is to break his spirit. And they don't understand that. They don't know of anyone, nor have they heard of anyone, because they don't know about Jesus, they were unable to break his spirit. Amazing. It's so, I want to encourage you to just observe, pay attention when he speaks, watch him, how he deals with his responses to things. It's different than you hear from low-grade people who are blind and can't see. Everybody say the same thing and react the same way to issues when they cannot see. And Donald Trump, so far, has not operated that way at all. According to ABC, Carroll said about seeing Trump in court, he's just something in a suit. Talk about men being hated in this world, and men are hated in this world, the whole wide world, because of who their father is, though they have been turned away from their father, but because of who their father is, they are hated. Even hated by other men, because other men don't understand. They have the wrong mindset, the wrong nature. When I say that our battle is a spiritual battle, believe me, it is. So this is from the National Pulse. The awarding of nearly $90 million to Jean Carroll will be remembered for generations as the greatest miscarriage of justice in contemporary American history. That's from National Pulse. Has never happened before. And you know why? Because there has never been a man like Donald Trump in America. And that's why that has never happened before. And it just a warning between now and November, just from now to November of this year, it's going to get worse on him. And believe me, there are a lot of Republican representatives who don't want him there either, because they're no different than the Democrats in that they don't want Donald Trump in there because they want to be for themselves. They want money and power. They're no different than the government. They support wars. And if you pay attention, they have not done one iota of a thing, zero, to make America great again since Donald Trump left. The Democrats have done everything they wanted to destroy America, one thing after another one. And the Republican representatives, zero. Because they're just like the Democrats. They agree with them. Zero. And all they do is take people to court for here, like Joe Biden and I guess Joe Biden's son. Their focus is on that. And now they're talking about another hearing about the guy that's supposed to be in control of the border. They want to impeach him. That's all they ever do, sit around and talk. And if they impeach the guy that is supposed to watch over the border, that ain't going to stop nothing. But at least the Republicans can hold a press conference and say, we're trying to do something. No, they're not. If they were serious about doing something with the border, they'd be doing what the Texas governor is doing right now. They would be taking some type of action down at the borders. But they haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. Isn't that amazing? So according to ABC, Carol says she planned to use $83 million on something. $83 million on something Donald Trump hates. Watch this from MSNBC.
You've talked about using some of Trump's money that you're about to get to help shore up women's rights. Do you know what that might be, what that might look like?
Yes, Rachel. Yes.
Tell me.
I had such great ideas for all the good I'm going to do with this money. First thing, Rachel, you and I are going to go shopping. We're going to get completely new wardrobes, new shoes, motorcycle for Crowley, new fishing rod for Robbie. Rachel, what do you want? Penthouse? It's yours,
Nothing.
Rachel. Penthouse and France? You want France? You want to go fishing in France?
Amazing. What a nutcase, huh? She already spending the money. She ain't got it yet. I talked about that Sunday at the fellowship. When you feel like you're going to win the lottery, just playing the lottery, you already spend the money before they even pull the numbers. She already living in the future. Isn't that amazing? She's going to buy everybody something. Good versus evil. Right versus wrong. This woman, this female, Kara, I'm gonna spend the money on everything Donald Trump hates. Donald Trump don't care about that. Either way. ABC is reporting that Kara's lawyer, Roberta Kaplan, said, if we have to bring another case, we'll bring another case. It's just going to be more money. Money, money, money. They love the money. It ain't about the country. It ain't about what's right. It's about self. All egos are about self. Even the no good Nikki Haley, the female that took down the Confederate flag in Carolina, she weighed in on it. Lord have mercy. And you want this for your president. Well, you really don't want it. New York Times is reporting Nikki Haley said she trusted a jury judgment in Donald Trump's sex assault defamation case. Watch this from NBC.
Let's talk
But
about.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right, let's talk about the court cases.
I have always said I think Donald Trump has the right to be on the ballot. I've always said I trust the American people. They know how to make good decisions. And so I think that they're going to see this for what it is. They see that he's completely distracted. They see that he's going on these rants about how he's the victim.
I was teased every day for being brown.
And I think that's exactly what we don't need a strong leader to be. And so, these court cases are going to keep happening one by one. We're going to keep seeing him in a courtroom, and we're going to see him come out and do a press conference. I absolutely trust the jury. And I think that they made their decision based on the evidence. Let him play the loser. That's what we want him to do at the end of the day.
And that want to be the president. Do you believe me now that it's not in the female's nature to lead? She was created to follow. So just a little bit more about this. I mentioned the lost Nikki Haley, right? We played that just before the break. Here's some interesting facts from Breitbart. Berdolph Gutman has no surveillance videos of the alleged incident, and there are 0 witnesses to the alleged sexual attack. Carol was unable to remember when this alleged attack even occurred, and the dress she claimed to have worn during the alleged incident was not even available at the time of her claims. That's from Breitbart. But in America today, all the women have to do is say it. Go to court and cry a tear. Men don't have a chance. That's why I tell men, don't waste your money. Amazing. Another thing from Breitbart, Carol first came forward with the allegation while promoting her book, What Do We Need Men For? This was in 2019. And here's a photo of her book. What do we need men for?
What the?
What a joke. Isn't that amazing? Amazing. Amazon.com, America's longest running advice columnist, goes on the road to speak to women about hideous men and whether we need them. Isn't that amazing? This female going after the great white hope. And she apparently talking to other women about it. I guess she's a advice columnist or something it was. Can you imagine going to that for advice? Ladies, I would recommend do what you want. And some of you are already doing it. I'm very aware. But you need to come out of that world. Stop identifying with it. Because you will be misguided. Take control of your own life. Think for yourself. Become an individual. And believe me, there are males that think just like women about Trump's situation. They have the mindset of the woman and the emotions that come with it. So I do understand that. They think just like the woman about Trump or about anything because they have not returned to the Father. Amazing, huh? And I've said it 1,000 times, you are your own world. What's happening with the situations that the Great White Hope is dealing with, Donald Trump, is happening in his world. Not your world, not my world. It's happening in his world. Watch how he deals with things in his world. Just observe him. I want to give you an example of the view from hell. This is from the New York Post. The 6 co-hosts of The View got catty Monday when they walked out to For the Love of Money by the OJs while celebrating the verdict. Watch this from The View.
And that's connected to the fact that you know who has to pay money, 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 money.
Woe unto the woman or the man that rejoice in another man's pain. Woe unto them. Now do you believe me when I tell you that the hell comes through the woman? You saw that. That's the hell that entered the earth through the woman. That's the hell that entered the children through the mother. And they're celebrating. And while they're celebrating, they're miserable. They have a phony, happy smile on their face, but inwardly, they're in hell. They're in hell. And I'm being told that that's the theme song for The Apprentice. Have you ever seen, other than Jesus Christ himself, have you ever seen one man so hated? And all he wanted to do is work for the American people to make your life a little more comfortable in that you have jobs, you'll be protected militarily. The border would be closed. That's all he wanted to do. He doesn't need your money. He doesn't have to be running. And these females are celebrating evil. Trust not an angry person. And you just see that on the stage right there and in the audience of the so-called View. They're celebrating. And yet, they're miserable. Amazing, huh? You've heard of Louis Farrakhan, right? And when my producer, Sean, told me that Louis Farrakhan support Trump, I'm like, what the? Unless Louis Farrakhan had a change of heart, Louis Farrakhan believed, I don't know what he believed now, that the white man is the blue-eyed devil and that he was built by some angry black men who went into a laboratory and created the white man, and they created the blue-eyed devil, something like that. But apparently, maybe he had a change of heart because you can change. You can have a change of mind. And so apparently Louis Farrakhan is now supporting the great white hope, Donald Trump. This is from C-SPAN. The Nation of Islam leader, Louis Farrakhan, called President Trump an anomaly, saying that God has sent him. So maybe the blue-eyed devil ain't from the devil after all. God has him here, sorry. He said that, saying that God has him here. Now you better watch, right? And observe the way the Great White Hope dealing with the issues. Watch this compilation.
The nature of this administration is good for us. Because of Trump's way, he is an anomaly. There's never been no president quite like Mr. Trump. There's something that he's doing. Trump is destroying every enemy that was an enemy of our rise. Who's the enemy of our rise? Is it the Department of Justice, where we get none? Is it Congress, where you make a law that favors us and then you turn around and destroy it? Is it the media that has destroyed every black leader that stood up for us? Martin Luther King suffered it. Malcolm suffered it. He's attacking the media, calls it fake news. He's beating up the FBI. Go at it, baby.
Yeah. God has him here. What did you say, Farrakhan?
And you know what? He's real.
Wow. I rest my case. Louis Farrakhan says God has him here. And he's real. He has risen from the dead. And he's alive. He has risen from the dead. He's alive. Amazing. I never thought that one day I would hear Louis Farrakhan say that about any white man. Now, do you know that Donald Trump is having a major impact? He's waking up the dead. God has him here, says Louis Farrakhan. That's amazing. That's like Mamma Mia, Hola, Si Senor. Galoshes, amazing. I have not seen anything like this since leaving Alabama. Black men used to be this way. In the good old days, when boys were boys and men were men. Trump is from the old school. Watch this. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to take it home and serve sweet potato pie with coffee. Watch this. And I've said over and over, he's from the old school. Watch him and learn. This is from CBS. The Republican National Committee has pulled a resolution to consider declaring Donald Trump the party's presumptive 2024 nominee before he formally clinched the requisite number of delegates. Isn't that amazing? Like, you know what? Let's just go and announce that he's the man. We ain't got to wait for no delegate and all that kind of stuff. Donald Trump is the man. But guess what happened? Trump posted on Truth Social that while he greatly appreciate the notion, he felt, for the sake of the party unity, that they should not go forward with this plan, but that I should do it the old-fashioned way and finish the process of at the ballot box. He's like, no, don't do that. I'm going all the way with this. Let's do it the right way. We're going to go to the ballot box. How many men would have been able to say, no, we got to go all the way. We got to go to the ballot box. They would have grabbed that opportunity so fast to make you swimming in the head. But he said, no, that's old school. When my producer and I was going over this, right away I thought, wow, these Republicans trying to set Trump up because the representatives don't want Trump. Most of them. Not all, but most. And I'm like, this sounds like a setup. But Trump didn't fall for it. It might not be one, but the fact that they came up with an idea like that, it was something else behind it, I thought. I may be wrong. But he said, no, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I want to keep party unity. I want to do it the old-fashioned way and finish the process off at the ballot box. Now do you understand me when I said watch, observe without opinion, either good or bad, right or wrong? You can live that way, you know. You can live your whole life without any opinion about yourself or anyone or anything, really. You can live a life of no thinking. As a matter of fact, if you want to live a full life, you must live a life of no thinking. A no thinking life is what you want. A thinking life is hell. Everyone who is into thinking are miserable. They're in hell. I know a lot of people love their hell. They love their misery. And they try to impose it on others, but they love their misery. Amazing. The Great White Hope. Let me see what he has to say today. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to say, right?
I have a running war with the media. They are among the most dishonest human beings on earth.
I rest my case.
Amazing.
Amazing. The Great White Hope. You have not seen a man on this earth dealing with issues in his life or the situations like this before. Amazing.